If you're not doing SEO, where do you think that the LLMs are pulling all these results for?
Most people are too concerned on creating like the absolute best quality content. They don't pay enough attention to the actual volume that is required to get surfaced.
We have been hearing that SEO is dead for the last 10 years. We have the best year ever this year in terms of revenue, and we only sell SEO.
Today's episode is one we've been really hyped for because search has changed. AI answers are stealing clicks. Google's generative results are rewriting the rules, and getting found in AI search kind of feels like a black box. So we brought in someone who's shipping results across 500 plus clients. Our guest today is Umair Mansha, CEO and founder of Lazy Metrics, the behind-the-scenes SEO engine that's powering agencies and lean teams all over the world. Umair's built a system that wins on Google, inside AI answers, and across generative search without hiring 3 different specialists to do it.
Today, we're going to kind of go through a number of things, but what we're trying to unpack is like, do you really need 3 strategies, an SEO, an AEO, GEO, whatever people are calling it? What's actually changed in the SEO land and what hasn't? There's a lot of myths that we want to try and unlock by the end of this for you. What are the 5 technical fixes that we can unlock growth for you instantly? And how to structure content so AI actually understands you and it shows you rather than replacing you. So yeah, let's get into it. Umar, thank you for joining us. Really happy to have you here. Welcome to Unfair Advantage.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I look forward to having conversation about SEO. Yeah, let's dig in. Let's get started.
Awesome. So yeah, you've worked with hundreds of agencies, and I suppose what are you kind of seeing in how teams are utilizing automation and AI tools right now? And also, while we're touching there, where does human strategy really kind of still make the biggest difference in what we're doing today?
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing with AI, and everyone is talking about AI is the only thing that's on everybody's mind, and certainly agencies, small or big, they are looking ways to cut their HR expenses. They are looking to become more leaner to increase their profit margins, and they want to utilize all the automations that these LLMs can help them do. And we have certainly seen the shift that uh, agencies are relying less and less on human output and more about automations. How they can automate most of their work. How can they let the biggest and the hairy problems to get solved with using AI? And I think we are moving away from uh, hundreds of people working in agencies to a couple of dozens that are doing like 50 million a year agencies. Before a few years ago, you needed a lot of people to actually grow big. But now I think lean teams are the future. You only need people that are able to utilize AI properly and that can help you scale much higher. So that's the shift that's been happening. And just for the sake of example, there's huge shift of like these consulting firms like McKinsey, and they are like laying off so many people because they don't need too many people doing the research. It can all be done with agents and using Perplexity or ChatGPT and all these softwares. So that shift is not in the future. That's happening right now, and anyone who wants to get ahead of this, they need to be able to utilize these tools that are at our disposal, or we can easily get behind. Easily get behind if we don't utilize them.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of agree as well. It's I think lean agencies are gonna also niche down a lot more on where their specific verticals they operate in. You know, the McKinseys and such. Um, they've always been very broad in what they cover in that sense, and I think that's going to change as well moving forwards because it's the only way they'll really differentiate themselves. And maybe that's also a bit where the human strategy side of things comes in, is because if they niche down, they can really go deep, and then they can also give the context that's needed to AI for it to actually do even better work, because I think that's also where a lot of naysayers to using AI tooling and stuff, they don't actually give it the required inputs. You know, it's the term in the UK is you can't polish a turd. And in all honesty, it is that,
That's
right?
very true.
The input is only as the output, sorry, is only as good as the input. And if you give
Input,
it
yeah.
something bad, it's never going to actually do what you expect it to do. So yeah, it's
Yep. That's very true. I think the roles that are relevant to the juniors, like analysts, junior consultants, they are vanishing from the market because the LLM can do much better job at much cheaper price. And as you said, like you cannot like it depends on the input that you're giving, the output, and it many people assume that only when you say input it's only about prompts, but in reality it's not just about prompts. It's the quality of data that you're training these LLMs on. And yeah, the data that you give them and the data that you train them, that's way more important than just the prompts are important, but many people assume prompts are everything, which is not true either. So you need to have real quality data, and the niching down that you've spoken about, because they have so much deep technical expertise and technical data that they can train these LLMs on, hence producing the better output. So they have the actual, not the generic stuff that you can just pull out of Google in the first 10 pages or whatever that research used to happen. Is completely outdated, and now it's time to uh, build deep agents that can do very specific tasks with the help of the data that you have gathered over the years from the clients and from the users.
On that note, Umair, and I think a lot of people are wondering at home, like, where does AI right now reference AI search? Where does it reference right now? Is it just Google?
No, I think the most of it is Google, but there are other sources like Reddit is a major one, but at the end of the day, they are doing very well on Google as well. So Google is technically these LLMs, you can call them like the wrapper of Google, but they do take data from different sources like listicles, like public forums, that sort of stuff. That they do take data from there as well.
it's essentially the citations is becoming the backlinks on the, even though it's what traditionally in SEO we saw as like a golden metric almost that people were trying to put in, is like how many backlinks can we get that'll help us raise our domain authority, all of this. It's changed now. It's more how you're naturally getting surfaced in language with AI a little bit, and not necessarily direct links, but the name of companies is also starting to
Yeah,
be raised a little bit more, and that gets then added
yeah,
to the algorithm essentially, which is
yeah, yeah. The user generated content like reviews, LLMs pull a lot of reviews from like sites like G2, all these aggregation websites.
yeah,
If you ask for any recommendation, most of it is coming from these aggregators that are out there.
yeah.
And it's very important to get listed there, have your profile there, business profile, ask your clients, customers, users to review, and not only review, have a review that is genuine and actually mention those keywords that your potential buyers are looking for. So having that intent to match that user generated content is super important
Mm.
Nice.
now more than ever.
You've worked in SEO for quite some years now, in the sense that so much has changed. I'm wondering what is a big myth that people are still believing that refuses to die?
um I think the biggest myth in SEO would be creating great content will get you on top of the results.
Oh,
That is not true. You have to have a proper strategy. You have to have proper frequency. Many people don't talk about the frequency part. Like if you're creating, like there used to be a time during 2013, 2014 when Brian Dean became the SEO king. He had a blog called backlinko.com.
Mhm.
I'm sure Mike probably remember. He's
Yeah.
still big. He sold his company to SCM Rush, and at that time, he used to publish only one piece of content every 6 months or 4 months, big giant pieces of content, and he was able to rank on all these keywords. But that is not true anymore. You have to have quantity and quality, and with time, it's becoming more difficult to rank on the keywords because of the competition, the way the algorithms are changing, and it's becoming harder and harder to get the clicks as well with AI overviews, Google experimenting
yeah.
with AI. I think organic and inbound marketing is becoming more tougher. And okay, you need to get better to match the intent. You need to create content that your user find it helpful, but at a scale that you can get indexed and you can get recognized that you're creating content, not just creating one piece of content every 6 months is not gonna cut
Well,
it
thank you for
anymore.
saying that. Thank you for saying that because I feel like one of the, as we chat about SPGO, our tool, with Mike to prospects, to founders, to agencies, they're like, oh, but is it going to sound like AI? Well, one is yes, if you don't put good enough inputs, but two is
Mhm.
most people are too concerned on creating like the absolute best quality content. They don't pay enough attention to the actual volume that is required to get surfaced
Yeah,
in search.
yeah,
Uh, and so they don't post, or they post very little once a month, when they put all their thoughts together. But that doesn't work. I wanted to ask
true.
you, yeah.
I was going to jump in and just probably ask exactly what you were about to ask. What do you recommend to your customers that they actually are putting in monthly,
Uh,
maybe even words as well, like total words per article or something like that?
so from the very beginning of my career, 10 or 12 years, I've been always saying one thing, that you need to create content that has the depth and the breadth. So you need to create long form content. Ideally, I like anything above 2,000 words. Obviously, any questions that you're gonna ask, the best answer would be it depends, because it depends on the industry, the competition, the keyword difficulty. There's so many variables at play that we cannot give you exact definite answer. But
Yeah, yeah.
generally, I like something that is long form, that is sourced with expertise, subject matter expertise that can be included in there. So, example, for health related content, you need to have some sort of overview by the relevant practitioner or doctor that can say that I've reviewed this content and it's actually authentic content. And with EEAT, you need to show Google that the stuff, especially in your money and your health niche, I don't know what this acronyms are, but your anything that is relevant to you, the financial health, like in insurance industry, in stock industry, or in health industry, you need to have uh, experts on the panel board, or people actually writing content knows what they're writing to be able to get that eat factor. Uh, and the length of the content varies depending on topic, but ideally the long form content that is not AI slop, actually something that is written and at least reviewed. And AI can produce the outline, the format, but you need to have someone that makes sure the content actually is written for humans as well, not just for the robots and search engines.
Yeah, those human tweaks are actually really important still. Um, as we kind of briefly touched on backlinks, as I was mentioning, citations. I think a lot of people still believe that they fix everything to do with your site. If you can raise the backlinks, everything's going to be a win there. But can you talk about any like a real fix that really compounds over time for customers?
In terms of getting backlinks or
Well,
the
it
importance of
just
getting.
it not necessarily backlinks, but just in helping raise their SEO profile of their business. Is backlinks still the fix, or is it actually more technical
I think
SEO? Is it?
so the concept of backlink is getting mentioned from your peers or in industry and getting the citations is essentially the same thing. Google wants to trust those websites that are being mentioned by other folks in the industry that you are in, so they know that you are talking about something that is relevant and not just sending content into the void. And backlinks are important in some industries, they are not important in some industries. Like for SMEs or local SEO, you don't need too many backlinks to rank for actually for near term. You need to have an actual really good piece of localized landing page, properly interlinked, with proper architecture, and you can and you have optimized Google business profile, and the reviews that are mentioning you with the keywords that your prospect are searching for with the right intent. You don't need too many backlinks. But if you are trying to rank for like personal injury law firms or insurance industries, they are super duper competitive, and depending on the keyword and the intent, you probably need the backlink. But the backlink you're getting from these vendors out there is probably not good. They are mostly linking through PBNs and link forms. They have built the directories, and even if the website is getting too much traffic and they link out to you, the number of times they link out to other sources, the each time they link out, the link juice get diluted each time. So these links farm, sometimes they have a very good website with like thousands and thousands of monthly users, and you look at the website, it looks legit, but they have linked out to too many because they are selling the link. That is
Yep.
their business model. So essentially, even if you get that link, it's not going to matter. But if you get a link from like a small micro influencer who only links out to legit resources and only links out sparingly, very carefully, and like one or two times in a piece of content, that is way more important. Even though these metrics like DR or UR or domain rating that do you see on SEMrush or Ahrefs is low, doesn't matter. And many people get confused, like they get the website, they instantly put on Ahrefs, and they'll see those matrices like do, DR is high, I think it's gonna move the needle for us. Actually, no. What you need to check is how many times they are linking out to other websites, what's the quality of the content, how much traffic they are getting, and there are so many other factors that you need to take a look at instead of just getting these links from link farm. So you have to be very strategic about backlinks. Backlink is not just paying a vendor and hoping that it will shift. Most of the time they are just crappy links,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
or if you get a no follow link from a high authority website, it's not going to move the needle as compared to do follow as well. So those are the factors I think one needs to take account of before they create their strategy. But if you are creating content at high scale in my and in not so big industries, I think you should be fine without backlinks as well, because organically you'll pull up some quality links that actually matters. Even though they are less in quantity, they will help you move the needle in the right direction.
Yeah. On that note, that's a really good point. How does content strategy differ from a startup that's just building their authority versus an established brand that's been doing SEO for some time and are concerned about maintaining it?
It depends on the competition, and it's very hard to outrank websites that have built the trust with Google over the years. Even the large publications like Forbes and Inc. and they usually get most of the traffic. I was reading a study that only I think 6 or 7% of the top websites get like 90% of the traffic from Google. So it's a big, like just like monopoly
Yeah.
they have over such traffic. So it's hard. It's not gonna be easy, but if you stay persistent and keep doing it, keep producing great content, getting social signals, create content that actually is valuable to your client, and you do it at a scale, then I think you have a chance. Depending on how many darts you throw at the board, maybe one or two will stick. And all you need is one really good piece of content that gets cited
Yeah.
over a long period of time to help you build that authority.
Do you think that's maybe where like a more omni-channel presence is the strategy that people should start pushing towards, of like, okay, how can we get mentioned in other sources, whether that's guest posting or, you know, just trying to actually write content that resonates not just on their own website, but actually pushing it out to other channels, social, Reddit, all of these sort of sources. Is that the strategy?
It's 100% is distribution is everything. um, Spraying and praying doesn't work anymore. If you even if you have created a really solid piece of content, then you are not sharing it, distributing in the right communities, or uh, creating a buzz about it, or at least some noise about it, you're not going to get very far with the amount of content that is being generated. And with the video content becoming the king, aka we are doing this because everyone watches videos now, nobody reads those long form content. But you're hoping that with that long form content, you get cited and build an SEO authority that will help you get clicks, and from there you funnel the traffic into bottom of the funnel piece of content or conversion or whatever the goal is. Omni-channel presence is has been part of the game from very early on. Uh, you need to own the traffic channels. You cannot just rely on Google anymore. Have some social media presence with your content that can help you build some buzz, so people actually gives a little bit of attention is on social media. And I think having an omnipresence brand is a must now. It's not just up to debate if you need it or not. It's a must have from the very beginning.
I think that also brings us back to another question, or equally, I suppose it's kind of a statement, right? Everyone right now is trying to say, you know, AI is killing SEO. But as you say, it's been the SEO game for a long time to be omni-channel. Um,
Yeah.
like, what does that look like from your side? Like, is it just raise the
Uh,
bar?
This is the we have been hearing that SEO is dead for the last 10 years. Since the Panda update, I've been hearing SEO is dead. Each year, something comes along, each algorithm update, people start saying that SEO is dead, SEO dead. We have the best year ever this year in terms of revenue, and we only sell SEO. So if SEO was dead, there would be no money going into it. If you read the stats, if you read data, if you believe in data, I think there are many cores that you should only believe in data and not the opinions of the people. And data shows that the spending on SEO is increasing year over year. Even the recent stats that I was reading, that each year the search spend is increasing about 18 to 20% per year with the CAGR, which is one of the fastest like growing spending. And like it's growing from once $120 billion, like 167. That's sort of just for SEO that people spend on in the US alone each year. And SEO has been changing. People like us that has been in the industry for a long period of time, we have seen all these changes. We are not afraid. We don't say that SEO is dead. We don't get behind these blanket statements. We are actually in the business of making sure that we stay in the market, we survive, and we help our clients and businesses get the conversions and traffic and the sales that they're looking for. Even though the method may change, the strategy may change, but overall the foundations are going to be there. The content will be the backbone of the internet. From Even if you go 20 years ago, content will be the backbone of the internet. And who creates content? We users create content, and at the end of the day, AI is there. The strategy will be different, but SEO will be there. in different acronyms. Someone will call GEO, AIEO. There are so many acronyms. But at the end of the day, if you really focus on what matters and you focus on the foundations, I think the fundamentals are there.
And
They're
it's
not
just
going
that,
anywhere.
right? The fundamentals haven't changed. It's just changing
Yeah,
acronyms, as you said, becoming this search everywhere optimization, right? And I
yeah,
really like the way you said it. The methods have changed, but the essence of it really is getting found
yeah,
when people are searching for you. So people are just
yeah.
searching on different channels now.
Mhm. And their intent's
Agreed,
different as well.
100%.
That's the other part, is the intent has slightly changed. So the other channels being LLMs, people are getting more clued up through an LLM, but then at the time they're actually ready to find something, they're in a much better state when they're actually visiting websites now. So being seen at that point in time is even more important to be ranking well in search, because you're getting actually a transactional customer into your funnel, as opposed to all of the education piece. And now the education piece is what you're actually training the LLM to talk about you in, so that the
Exactly.
customers get aware, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not doing SEO, where do you think that the LLMs are pulling all these results for all the recommendation? Exactly what you said, Mike. It's super duper important to focus on SEO more than ever. You need to have a strategy in place where you get recommended. If you don't, your competitors will take your place, and that's been that's the only thing that's gonna happen if you believe in all these headlines
Yep.
like SEO is dead and this is dead. People say PPC is dead. Sometimes people say video content is dead. Some people say like movies are dead. But like we humans create these LLMs and we crave authenticity. If you are doom scrolling on your on X or
Yeah.
YouTube and you see AI generated content, you are able to identify it and you don't care about it because there is no authentic. So I think the authenticity matters more now. If something is created by AI, people pay less attention to it because they cannot relate with AI. People are going to relate with actual human beings being vulnerable, creating content that they can relate to in the same position that they are. And the same goes for your SEO strategy as well. You need to have content that your users care about, your users read about. They it actually solves a problem or a pain point, and yeah, the ChatGPT recommendations are going to be coming from the rankings that you are going to get by investing in SEO.
Unfair Advantage is the live show for lean teams solving real growth problems. Each week, we bring in operators building what's next with tactics your team will want to get across. Subscribe and get the edge your competitors don't want you to have.
That's a great topic. Actually, I want to dig into a little bit further, Umair, around infusing that human content into AI, because we are all using AI to write content, generate content to various degrees. What are ways that we ensure that the content is kept genuine? What are some tricks? And I've got a few suggestions as well from what we do on our end.
Mm-hmm. I think having a human editor, someone with a subject matter expertise. If you're writing about law from like a law, and if you don't have any law background, it's gonna show. And I'm not saying you need to actually hire lawyers to write content, but you need to have some sort of experience writing for that niche. So having subject matter expertise matter. If you cannot hire them, there's a plenty of ways to get edit and like if you go to Upwork, you can find people like you can find doctors that can review the content that you've created,
Yeah.
and you can cite them as your source of truth. Like this doctor has reviewed this content for the authenticity, or this lawyer, this um,
That's a
like
really good point.
law associate has reviewed the content. So if the more ways you incorporate authenticity into your content and actually shows that it has been unique and it's not just a generic worlds of slop put together by
Yeah.
AI, I think it's gonna stand out. And with everyone using AI, I think it's becoming a little bit easier if you put a little bit more effort into it. That's that's all. Like if you go one extra mile, one extra step than other people, your content will be easy to
Yeah.
differentiate.
I
So
mean, there's a lot of competition out there, but it's not actually that hard to stand out if everyone else is using AI or thinking SEO is
yeah,
dead, right? Let your competitors believe that. One way,
Yeah.
yeah,
one way, so that getting that authentic expertise into content was a challenge, especially when I was working in an agency in a super niche um, accounting tech sector. How do you get your marketing specialist or yourself, if you're not an accountant, to write content for accountants? So either you can do the route like you suggested and get reviewed by the experts, or you can spend 15 minutes just chatting about a topic in a meeting, just like a Google Meet with a founder of
yeah,
a company,
yep,
and
yep,
use that
exactly.
transcript information to create the content.
Yeah,
So you're not like using AI
we
to scour the internet. You're getting it from the source
yeah,
and then you're just
yeah.
repurposing it.
That's very true. I think the client discovery and the initial meetings that you have before you onboard them is super important. And having if you're working with like any niche firms, they always have some ways to give you feedback about the stuff that you're writing. You can finalize the content, send them for feedback, or discuss all the technical points before you onboard them as well, or while creating the content. It depends on the relationship that you have with the client. The way that they structure. Sometimes client is very busy; they cannot give you input, but you can ask them for a Loom feedback. Maybe
Yeah.
that will work.
Yeah.
So there are many ways to like get to the end
Yeah.
result of. But
Yeah, those 15 minutes actually save them a lot of time in the end in terms of back and forth edits, right? To get it right at the briefing
yeah,
stage. Yeah, Mike.
true.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people miss in, especially founders in the writing process. They just go straight to, I'm just going to write something, right? But if you're not strategic about what you're writing, like who's it going to really appeal to? You need to think about it a little bit more evolved than that. Um,
Yeah,
the briefing stage is kind of the
yeah,
stage where it's like going, okay, here's everything we need to do. Here's how we're going to attack it. Here's the keyword strategy. Here's like the kind of phrases we need to be putting into the content at different points.
yeah.
Semantics. People don't
Yeah.
understand that semantics are important. Um, and I think, yeah, maybe you can touch, like, maybe even we start there as like, let's build out like the fundamentals so that people understand from a briefing perspective, where should we start?
Yep. I think brief helps a lot with the whole process. It's an uh, extra layer that makes everything else very smooth. Um, and then that's the extra step that I was referring to earlier as well. If you have that extra step, most of the businesses don't have that extra step in their writing or editorial process.
Hmm.
And just by having something that they can uh, having a review stage or something that they can just share a feedback on with a brief, it's a good differentiator and a great USP as compared to people that just create direct content from a headline and they start with
Yeah.
top 10 results from Google, or they just tell GPT, please help me research about this H1 title that I'm gonna put here.
Yeah.
That's a very lazy way to start any piece of content. So having content builds is super duper helpful.
Shall we jump into an example? I was just, we spoke about it before. I think it's the perfect time
Yeah,
to kind of bring it up.
yeah,
We can also show ours from SB Go, what we do on our
yeah.
side, but I'd be really keen to compare and equally like trade some secrets, I suppose, from both sides of like what we're doing and what you're doing, because I think it'll be really valuable for people to see the
Of course,
level that you should go to in a brief, because then equally when you hand
hundred
it to
percent.
a content writer, the content writer doesn't have to spend days on this. Like they can literally turn that down to
Yeah,
like hours, maybe even minutes in some cases.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah. let's dive into it.
Yeah,
I'll let you
let's
share first, and then we'll butt in with ours, and we can kind of compare notes.
sure, man. So I shared this example with you earlier.
Like at that briefing stage also, I found miles and miles of difference from getting the expert to review the brief. It saves you
Mhm.
hours of time as opposed to getting already to the draft stage. So this is the real time saver here. And it could just be
Yeah,
bullets, right?
yeah, yep, yep. So yeah, so this is an example of content briefs that we write, and before we write con- content brief, we actually prepare some guidelines around the editorial of that specific niche, because each niche is different. The criteria to create content is going to be different. So we create these technical guidelines for copywriters or content writers, so they review this before they get started writing anything about that specific client. So, and it doesn't have to be very difficult. It's just straightforward: what to capitalize, spelling out acronyms, length of sentences, keeping tense consistent, just generic, like use colons, time of day formatting, never attacking competitors. Even though it's a given, but having that sort of a framework or an SOP does help
Yeah,
writer create
100%. You don't
content
wanna
that,
also publish a
yeah,
listicle and name your competitor as an option in there.
yeah, 100%. True, true. And we mentioned like overall goal, tone of writing, feature of writing, orientation. For I prefer X, we write to build up confidence. This is just a generic guideline that we have, and there are some technical things like uh, for that specific client that we found out during discovery
Nice.
or during onboarding. And once this is completed, like we actually give them example, like this is a term, this is the right way to mention it, and this is the wrong way to mention it. So so it's like
Gotcha.
a fill in the blank. This is just a editorial guideline. And when we move back to the content brief, we I think we discussed using Quora SEO. I'm a huge fan of that software. It's a huge software. You get to you download that into your computer, and you run that query, and it gives you so much data and that you need to clean up. And maybe with AI, I think it can help with the process. With usually my content briefs writer take like 2 hours, 3 hours to prepare one brief. um, but it does have like word count. As I said, I like having a deep breadth. So this is, for example, 3,000 words. uh, what's the company name, about the company, and there's a SOP about that I shared earlier. Authors, details of authors, target pages, like
It's a
everything
lot
is
of
step by
structured
step listed
data
out.
that you wanna get straight out of the bat before actually going into the content writing itself. And then, of course, target
Yeah,
audience
yeah,
for anyone listening and not
yes,
watching. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Target audience, required reading, minimum quality threshold, and we have an SOP that helps with that. What's the
What,
blog type, content tactic?
what reading level do you tend to recommend? Like grade 8 level English, grade 9? What's your take on that?
I I really, the simpler it is, the better. If you actually read studies about the reading level of most people in the US, you would be amazed. Like most people read at a level 6, I think.
Okay.
An average person read at a level, so it should be at grade 6 or under, ideally. But 8 is also a good
That's the
number
other
to go
challenge,
for.
right? Actually, I've found especially something as purely AI generated, it tends to get overly technical and get into these higher levels of reading.
Yeah, vocabulary. Yeah, yeah. And nobody uses that, and you just I
Yeah,
think the you make it more simple in more human language, the better.
right. Yeah, that's definitely a prompt
And
to use. My question there is, I guess, when you're writing 3,000 word articles or a lot more, knowing that people are just skim reading, so are you writing for now should we be writing more for LLMs and infuse it with with specific content? Should we be writing for a reader who is skimming things, so the headings need to have a lot of information? Like, how do we find that balance in a single piece of content?
I think you have a main keyword, seed keyword, as a general source. Like, this is the keyword, and all the rest of the keywords has to be added into that piece of content. And the internal linking and on page, we really practice the best practices that are out there. Like, for example, internal links that make sense and can be included are listed out here. The balance is actually, you are writing for both. You are not writing for just for the humans, because sometimes you want the search engines to be able to pull out that snippet from your content. So you are answering a lot of questions. Like, if you search something like what is SEO on Google, and you go at the bottom, this is gold here, and this is the part of the briefs that we include in the
So,
brief as well.
so those
Like,
are the
people also
headlines.
ask.
Those are the headlines
Yeah,
or the snippets that should
yeah,
be included.
and yeah, that you're answering the question, you are pulling these out, and Cora SEO software actually pull these out from SERP, from your main query, and give you all these queries that you can answer, and the writer can specifically answer these queries. So
It doesn't even have to be the headline as well as, I think the point, right? It's like those
yeah, it
particular
doesn't have.
terms, you can blend them into the content, and it actually it feels more human when you do. And I think that's also something that people should be aware of. Like a lot of the whole long tail keywords, people do it as like a statement answer type thing, and actually you can blend it in a lot easier than that, and it makes it a lot more human as well when you're writing content
Yeah,
to do it that way, because if it doesn't follow like a conversational flow, people will just switch off as well, and that's the
yeah,
the
yeah.
ultimate thing.
I Yeah, as Mike said, it doesn't have to be headings, as long as you can add those queries as organically possible. That's the right approach here. But having these H2s matching those PA does help, but it has to be organic. It has to match the flow of the reader that is reading the content. So as you see that these are very detailed, what's to include in each headings is added, matching the intent, the semantics, LSA keywords, question and answer, as we were discussing, number of tables, internal links, and then the copywriter can start with the content from here, and you can see what is the actual content look like. And yeah, this will ensure that it answers all the queries and helps solve the pain point of the user as well, while getting properly indexed in search engines.
Nice.
So yeah, it's quite detailed. I like this type of content. Even though nobody's reading this in detail, they are specifically looking for that query to be answered. It will have a lot of those queries organically listed out here.
Shall I switch into our example just to show you like
Yeah,
the
let's
perspective
go
as
ahead.
well? One, I'll
Mhm.
take over. So this is SBGo, one of the pieces of software we've created, and this is the blog brief. We actually show this in a way where you can re-edit the brief and regenerate content if you want, or if you go from just a content idea, it comes into this flow. We have like a content overview section, which is more about like, what are we actually writing about? What's the unique angle as well? Like, I think this is an important step that people should all think about when if they're especially if they're writing their own content, is like, how are we going to be unique and have a difference of opinion to what everyone else has? And that actually also resonates more of a human nature as well to it. Key takeaways. We dive into the target audience, and then we go into content structure, which is kind of similar to what you're doing. But as this is part of a agentic process, we obviously don't need the semantic structure, as we can enable that further down the line. Um,
Okay.
But yes, we go into like the true detail of what we're trying to do. So introduction, the hook, the problem, the value, and then what each section, and equally, more importantly, like how many words should we be using to describe this sort of part of the content, is really important for us. Conclusion as well. A lot of people don't put conclusions, but the conclusion is almost, if you think of it
It's
from a
super
video
important.
perspective, right? Most videos that rank well, the first 5 seconds is the punchline, but the conclusion is the last 10 minutes of a video that's 30 minutes long that goes, here's what we did, here's how we did it, and here are the results. Like a conclusion is really important in writing too. So a lot of people don't push that in. Keyword strategy, content requirements, so similar to yours, tone of voice, perspective, how we're doing that. We kind of come up with some visual elements that they should create. We don't create the image elements our side. Success metrics as well. We like to put this in there as like a goal,
Yeah.
but it's kind of backed by data too, right? It is the whole point. We utilize data for SEO as an API as well to try and pull in some live statistics around these keywords that are there and opportunities, and that goes into that. But similar things, I think the big thing as well, like target audience, we actually, so your document that you've got, those, they're almost like brand guidelines as well as technical guidelines. We have that as like an ICP persona that you're writing to, and you
Okay.
can build that out in platform, and it's really powerful. I think that then when you're creating content, it really resonates with who you're trying to get it to resonate to. So yeah, it's just to give people kind of a, what you can also get through tooling as well, and get you probably 90% of the way there. So if you then still want to use a human writer, you can utilize tooling in this way.
I like it. I think it probably would help us cut some time. Um, I think that so you're using like the SERP analysis as a way to analyze all those ranking keywords and then putting all those results and then
Yeah, so
creating.
we have a number of things we're doing in the background there. So we've already done a business analysis on the company that's writing the content, or the person that's writing the
Mhm.
content. We also look at their competitors, so we can try and find like a differentiating angle potentially, or equally just where there's content gaps in their competitors that they can change things. And then we take the top 10 rankings in Google and kind of depict, we essentially scrape all that data out of what the top 10 ranking articles, what they're writing about and how, and then we kind of blend that all together into a brief. So we kind of trying to hit the market well. We know what resonates, but then we're adding a flex on top of like, okay, what's our unique angle? How are we actually approaching this our side? And like, what's the brand voice that we want to push through the article?
Okay.
And that's
Like
the powerful part, right? Is especially when you're trying to essentially ghostwrite, right? We're trying to ghostwrite for a CEO who's got a vision of what their company is. And that's what we're trying to push forwards in the ICP persona, because that's those, early hours where they've spoken to 20 customers in a day, trying to like go, oh, like what resonated with that customer versus this one, building it in. Like it's those insights you're trying to pack in
Mhm.
here and really clearly punch through, I suppose, punch through and show a difference. And I think that's, again, when you look at, okay, someone's in ChatGPT, how can you stand out, is actually really resonating with that person and that pain point in ChatGPT, in Perplexity. And that all comes back to bringing those customer signals into the content you're actually creating as well.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good tool. I would love to give it a spin for our um,
We can
use
definitely have
case
that
as well.
conversation.
Of course,
Just like
right
the example
after
pitch
our
in our
yeah.
podcast, Mike. But I think crucially, the other thing to mention is the distribution piece. People think that SEO is just publishing a blog and publishing multiple blog articles a week, a month. But we also take that long piece of content and then distribute it out. So you can choose, do you want to do a LinkedIn post from it? Do you want to include it in your email newsletter? It's not like you just publish one piece of content and it exists out there and
And forget about it.
it needs to
Yeah,
exactly.
promotion is very important. It's everything actually. There's so much content noise out there. Hitting publish is not enough anymore. And for distribution or promotion, there are so many good ways, but building an email list is one of the best ways you can promote your content. um, Many people say email marketing is dead now, but uh, if you're a business owner and you collect emails from a client, you'll know that it's not true at all. It's an amazing marketing channel, just like SEO. Uh, People don't use it properly, and then they just
Yeah.
start saying that this is bad. It's just like if you're fat and you don't know how to lose weight, instead of trying to fix your strategy or trying to work on your exercise, you start saying that weight loss doesn't work, exercise doesn't work, having a
Right.
proper diet doesn't work. It doesn't make sense when you put it in health term.
Yeah.
Um, but email marketing is super duper. I'm saying super duper too many times, so maybe I should
Marketing
cut that out.
marketing is
But it's very important.
marketing is
Yeah,
something where you need to
yeah,
have a lot of restraint, especially now with AI when you can create infinite amounts of crap, right? It's actually becoming
yeah,
harder than ever to just pause on that and select the channels that your audience are already at to then grow and then distribute it, right? I think that's the biggest challenge
yep,
is reach, and distribution solves for that. The beauty of these long form articles, right, is that you can find so many different angles to repurpose something with and have a new perspective
yeah,
from a one long piece.
yep,
So that maybe no one's going to read your 3,000 word article, but you are doing that SEO work in the background that compounds continuously at the cost of very little time, actually, because what you are getting is a continual content engine where you are refining your messaging, you are hitting everything from different angles, and getting found by people wherever
yeah.
they are searching for your category.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Like SEO is just like if working on your body. As I was rehearsing, like the health example I gave. If you don't actively pursue health, like a couple of times you need to go to a gym, right? Or you need to run, or you need to have proper diet. SEO is just like that. You have to invest over time consistently. It doesn't mean that you need to do it uh, 24/7, but you need to have some sort of way to prune the old content, have a technical audit from after 1 month or 3 4 weeks. Just keep reviewing what's working and what's not working. So SEO in itself is like constantly improving your website, having just not publish content and saying that I have done enough. You need to make sure that the architecture of the website is properly optimized. The sitemap is working properly. You don't have too many dead pages that are indexed in Google. There are dead weight. You need to have you need to do content audit after a certain time. Get rid of all those pages that are not bringing in users or traffic. That is one way to free up a lot of index bloat. So the
Yeah.
more you work, the better you get with time. It's like just like you work on your health, and
Now I know why it's called
it's a continuous process. Yeah,
now I know why it's called a site health. It all makes sense
Yeah.
now. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
in theory, it should go into your business health metrics, right? That's
yep,
the whole
yep,
whole point, right? It's if you're not evolving your digital presence, like,
yeah.
are you going to exist?
yeah.
True, true,
Let's wrap
very
things
true.
up with the 5 technical fixes we had promised at the beginning of the show. So, I know there's no silver bullet for a healthy lifestyle. You have to show up every day and pick up those weights. But what are
Uh,
5 technical fixes that people should be doing immediately to help boost that?
I think I mentioned a couple of them earlier, but the five would be speed. The website should load fast. Mobile responsiveness is super important. Yeah, people that are loading a website on mobile, it has to be responsive on phone. It's more people are on their phone than on desktop. It was the other way around few years ago,
Yeah,
and we used to optimize for desktop. Now mobile first
yeah,
strategy, having a solid technical architecture of your website, where the navigation works properly, the page structures are listed in a way that is user friendly and it's easier to navigate. Uh, this is the fourth one would be a little bit controversial, but I believe it doesn't have to be pretty. Your website doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to have so many visuals, and it has to function very, very well. Even if it's ugly, but you can go to the endpoint and you can resolve the pain point that you on your website quickly, as compared to having so many graphics. I believe ugly websites convert better, and there's so much data that out there that is there to support that. So I'm not saying that you need to make your website ugly, but I'm saying that
Some
it has
people
to
do.
function very well.
Some people do purposely make their websites look like a 1990 something, because that's how they
Yeah.
stand out, right?
Yeah, and it works. If you read studies out there, um, I see so many graphics, and it actually helps. It actually work on it doesn't help with the user experience. It makes your website slow with the media. The more media you add into it, it's kind of harder to load. It's gonna take more time. So functional is the keyword here. Highly functional. uh, there's a very famous image of user experience in where the baby is in the crib and the toys are on top. Have you seen that image? We see
Yeah.
the image from our perspective, and it looks perfectly fine, but babies is seeing the parts of those toys from below. So user experience is something that you have to think of from the perspective, not from your perspective. So make it functional. Your website has to be functional and works very well. And last would be create something that people care about and that actually solves their pain points, not something that creating just for the search engine is not enough. It has to have proper optimizations in place, but have proper keyword research. And before you do keyword research about the user persona that you're targeting, having a properly defined user persona that you're targeting, and uh, that have that helps. So thinking from user's perspective, so use UX is SEO as well. Like having a good UX is technically SEO.
Yeah.
So does it help?
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
No, I think that's a really good list, and equally, it's should make people think about their sites a bit differently. It's not all about it's singing and dancing. It's okay. What's the value we're providing, and that functionality is really important in that. And also, don't worry. Like, I think the funnel optimizers have also changed what websites look like, because they're all just like, how quickly can I get them to a conversion? And it's like that world's changing as well slightly now. It's actually, how can I provide the most function before I hit them in the face with the buy it? Yeah.
yeah, I think having more educational content is better than uh, the more educated users that you have. It's going to become easier to convert them later on. So,
This is a great
but having a
point.
balance with the top, middle, and bottom of the funnel is the key here. You need to have to optimize for conversion as well, but don't put buy now button on your user faces each
Yeah,
time you get a chance.
that's it. Definitely. Well, thanks for your time. It's been really good. Really dived into a lot here, and I think there's a lot we can all put into place now off the back of it. So yeah, I appreciate it. Melody, anything else from your side?
Where can we find you? I've posted your website, lazymetrics.com, in the chat. Anyone?
Maybe my LinkedIn, the people can just Google my name, Umair Mansha, and they'll be able to get in touch with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can send my LinkedIn, because I think that's something that it's easier to
Thank you
connect
so
me
much.
with, or X, or I'm everywhere. So just Google would be enough as well.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, and we'll see you next
Thanks.
week for the next episode of Unfair Advantage. Thanks for your time.